Alright, so in this video we're going to go ahead and start to create the UI. Now we've been using Bootstrap quite a bit in this course, so we're going to move to Foundation, which is very similar to Bootstrap. It's a front-end HTML5 CSS framework and offers things like nav bars, special button classes, things like that, forms. So we're going to actually grab the CDN. So if we go to cdnjs.com/library/foundation, we want to grab, let's see, we want this right here, just the foundation.css. And then we're going to go over to our index.html file and just put that in. Let's see, we'll put it right here. So link rel is going to be style sheet, and then we'll just paste that in. And we can also grab the JavaScript file, which is right here, and we'll put that down at the bottom here. Okay, and I believe that needs jQuery as well, so we'll just grab the jQuery CDN. Copy that, and I'm going to put that right above it and save. Alright, and you can see that the font and the spacing has already changed, so Foundation is now being implemented. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the app.component.html file, and we're going to start to build up our UI. Alright, so let's go to the top here, and I'm actually going to just get rid of all of this. Okay, so we first want our top bar, so we're going to create a div. We're going to give it a class of top bar. Alright, and then let's put a div with the class of row. And another div in here. This is going to have the class top bar left. And this is going to have a UL with a class of menu. Oops. Right, and all we're going to have in here is the title. Okay, we're going to put it in an li and give it a class of menu text. And then we'll just say business contacts. Okay, and then after the top bar left ends right there, we're going to put another div and give it a class of top bar right. And we're not going to put anything in it right now, it's just to have in case you want to stick something up there later. Alright, and then we're just going to put a line break here, and let's save that. Okay, so that gives us a nice little top bar. So next we're going to go down and create another div here. This is going to be a row. You can see that the grid, it has a grid system that is very similar to Twitter Bootstrap. So we want to have basically a full column, so it would be 12 column div. So class is going to be large-12 columns, which is the same as in Bootstrap saying like call LG12 or something like that. And let's see, let's put a div here, and what we want to do is we want to check for businesses. Okay, so in here we're going to do an ng if and just put in here businesses. Okay, if there's businesses, then let's put a table. And we'll put a table head. And TR. Okay, so the table row, and then this is going to be the headings. So we'll have company, we'll have category, and phone, and then we're just going to have an empty th tag. Alright, and then in the body, we're going to put a TR. Now what we want to do is loop through the businesses, so we're going to put an ng4 in here, just like we had up there earlier in the UL. So we'll say let business of businesses. Okay, and then we're going to have our columns, which are TDs. Okay, so this one is going to be the company. So we'll say business.company. Okay, then we're going to have the category, phone, and then this last one here is going to be it's going to be the buttons. So let's space that out, and we'll say button. We're going to give it a click event. So when this is clicked, we're going to say change state, because what we're going to do is we're going to have a button to click to extend it to show the rest of the company info. Alright, so in here, let's say we want to change state to extend, and then we also want to pass along the business key or ID. So it's going to be business.$key. Alright, and let's give this a class of button. Okay, and this will just say more. Alright, and then we're going to have another button. Give it a class of button, and also secondary, which should make it gray, I believe. And that'll be the edit button. And then we'll also have a delete button. So this one will give a class of button and alert. Alright, and that'll say delete. So we'll save that. Let's take a look. And there we go, we have our businesses. So now let's take care of the extended content. So we know that when we click this button, it's going to call change state. So let's take care of that. We'll go into our TS file, and let's go under the ng on init and say change state. Okay, that's going to take in a state and also the business key or ID. Okay, so let's do, we'll say if key, then we want to set this dot active, no, say active key to whatever that key is. Alright, and then we also want to change the state. So down here we're going to say this dot app state is going to equal whatever's passed in. Now we want to add these as properties up here as well. So we'll say app state, which is a string, and active key, which is also a string. Alright, so let's save that, And then what we'll do is go back to the HTML, and up here we're going to put the stuff that we want when it's extended. So we'll put a div, and we're going to use ngIf here. Okay, so ngIf app state is equal to extend. Okay, remember we changed it to extend down there when we press the more button. Then we're going to still copy this. Oh. Actually, no, we're not going to copy that. Let's just create another row. Okay, because the idea is when we click it, we want just a larger area up here to extend with all the company info. Okay, for that particular company that we click. So we will have a row, and let's do div class. We'll say large 12, and let's do an offset large 1 offset columns. All right, and let's see, we're gonna have a button to go back. So we're gonna give this a class of button alert. We'll make it red, and when we go ahead and we click that button, it's going to call change state again, except this time it's going to change it to default, which is what you see now, just the table. Alright, so for this we'll say go back. Alright, and then let's see, we're going to go outside of this row right here. Okay, that ends there, so we'll put another div, and we're going to do a loop again in ng4. We'll say let business of businesses, except now what we want to do is we only want one specific business, so we're going to do an if statement. We're going to say ngIf, and this needs to be some kind of element. I'll make it a div. So ngIf business dot $key is equal to the active key, because remember when we change the state down there to edit, we also passed in the actual business, and then we set that to the active key. So we're going to check to see if it's that. When it is, then that's the one we'll display. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so we'll put a row. And we're going to do 2 columns here. So let's say div class, and this is going to be large 5 columns, and we're going to do a 1 offset. Alright, and I'm actually going to copy that because the next column is going to be the same thing. Okay, so in this one here, I'm just going to paste this in because it's nothing that really needs explanation. Okay, we just have the company in an H3, we have category, years in business, and then we have the description in a paragraph. Alright, and then in the other row right here, we're going to have a heading, contact info, and then just an unordered list with the rest of the information. Okay, so let's save that. And now if we go over, let's say we want this las, we'll say more, and now it's showing us all the information for that particular business. Let's say we want this rail fire, click more, and it changes to that. Okay, so that's working perfectly. Alright, and if we click go back, it goes back to the default state. So in the next video, we want to work on having a filter by the category, and then we also want to be able to add businesses from our application.